How can she act so normal, so indifferent, while your marriage crumbles? It's one of the most gut-wrenching feelings a man can experience. Watching the woman you love, the woman you would die for, look at you like you're just another passing stranger by. And the worst part, she doesn't even flinch. She goes about her day like nothing's wrong, like the years you spent together meant nothing, like you're already gone. And now the thoughts creep in. Was any of it real? Was she truly ever happy? Or was she waiting for the right moment to leave? And here you are, spinning in circles, tearing yourself apart, trying to figure out what the hell went wrong. But deep down, you already know. She's already checked out. And if you don't do something right now, she's never coming back. Because here's the truth. What's happening on the surface isn't the full story. There's something deeper going on in her mind, something she won't admit even to herself. And once you discover what that inner narrative is, you can tap into her heart and her mind and become the hero of her story again. So today I'm going to give you complete clarity on why she puts her happiness above the marriage and the family. Secondly, I'll reveal the truth about her sudden shift from things seeming okay to wanting to leave. And I'll back this all by a lot of studies scientifically and hundreds of you on the channel that answered a community poll question. And then I'm going to show you why she can act fine through the hardest experience in your life. And lastly, you'll discover how all this is subconsciously a test for you to pass. And once you see this, it'll give you that calm confidence around her and the ability to pass that test effortlessly. So it can take her doubt into curiosity. And once that transformation happens, the road to getting her back is laid out clearly for you. All right, let's talk about why she puts her happiness first. Now look, most women don't leave relationships because they want to, but because they must. Now look, divorce for a woman is like surgery because it is the absolute last resort after every option has failed. No one signs up for an invasive procedure as a first resort. A woman doesn't wake up one day and decide to leave her marriage just like that. She endures the pain as long as she can, hoping things will get better, trying different treatments, indirectly pointing things out to you, not having physical intimacy as much. The criticisms that you call it are requests in disguise from her to say, hey, this is what I need from you. She saw no other choice if she went towards divorce. Because surgery, just like divorce, it comes with uncertainty. There's a deep sense of loss. There's giving over to what something is being removed from your life. It is painful, but that pain of staying outweighs the pain of everything else, just like surgery. Of course, there's going to be an adjustment period of wounds being healed and all those moments of doubt, but at the end of the day, in her mind, she can see this logically. I know she starts with the emotion, but she says to herself, I'd rather go through all that pain with the hopes of feeling better down the road. And this should be a giant wake-up call when you see it that way, because that is the way her brain has processed all of this. The second component of this that you need to really understand is the differences between men and women. I'm going to make some sweeping generalizations because they tend to be true in the cases that we work with. One is that as a man, you have a sense of honor, duty, and self-sacrifice, okay? Which means you get your sense of purpose and meaning and fulfillment in life by sacrificing things, by sacrificing time and energy to bring forth money to provide for your family. That gives you a sense of meaning. In our masculine paradigm, we must have a purpose, and our purpose must serve others. For a woman, her deepest sense of purpose is love and connection. And in order to give that nurturance and connection, she must be full or happy. All her needs must be met. Think of it like this, okay? For most women, having a child, having a family is her deepest sense of purpose at a certain age. Of course, when she evolves, there's new things, but let's just talk about that. For a woman, her deepest sense of purpose is to have a family, right? Have connection and solid relationships with other people. If we're gonna look at the analogy of her having a baby, okay? Let's say when she's pregnant, she's not eating enough, right? She's not getting enough sunlight. She's not drinking enough water. She's not getting enough sleep. What's gonna happen to her child? It's gonna suffer, right? And one of her biggest pieces of purpose is gonna be deflated, degraded, and destroyed. Women have a high sensory input towards how they feel and if they're happy or not, and if their needs are being met. Because when she's fulfilled in life, it's about her filling herself up so she can offer her feminine gifts to the world, right? So she can build those stronger relationships. If she's empty, if she's feeling nothing, then she isn't able to offer her greatest purpose to the world, right? This leads to depression. Just like as a man, if you got injured, right, or you became blind one day and your job was about being able to have eyesight for whatever you do, it would make you depressed. Okay, the same thing is happening to her over all those years when she wasn't being fulfilled and nurtured, filled up by you because you couldn't meet her needs. She wasn't getting her purpose met. And so she has the inclination in her feminine to leave to be happy again. Now, a lot of men ask, well, how can she act so fine during this whole entire process? I'm gonna talk about that next, but first, I need to let you know how you process emotions different than her during the relationship. Women process the end of the relationship and go through the emotions of the grief while in the relationship, where men, they have a delayed onset for experiencing that processing. I mean, I had male clients that, after 7, 8, 9 years, they were still grieving the loss of their wife. And I don't mean she passed away. I mean, the divorce, right? They were still grieving it after 9 years. Now, there's a multitude of reasons as to why this is. It's actually pretty interesting. But first, let's go over studies to back this up. A Psychology Today study even showed that the majority of women spend 2 years contemplating divorce or breakup before they actually do it. Even with you guys, I did a poll, as you can see here, and 72% of you said divorce came out of nowhere. Because she isn't overt about this. She's showing indirect signs as the feminine does, and it's up to you to be able to see those signs in your relationship. And again, this might be controversial to say, but look, it's actually a smart move in her part to do it this way, right? It's safer. And women above all else, they value emotional safety. Because if she was to abruptly just end things when she first thought about it, it'd be a lot harder for her. It's a lot less painful if she prepares for the leave. It softens the blow, okay? You can call it selfish, you can call it whatever you want, but at the end of the day, if you were her, you would do the same thing. And to be quite honest with you, with the last point I'm going to talk about, even when she was preparing for it, the goodness in her, the hope, the love in her was still hoping that you could turn things around during those years. Okay, now let's talk about why she can act fine during this whole entire process. And I say fine with quotes because she is hiding things. First, let's talk about how this isn't necessarily a female trait, right? Us men, we're notorious for when we're messed up, we're depressed, we're beaten down, someone calls us, hey, how are you doing? I'm good, how are you? Right? We don't want to share those things. This is not exclusive to women that we can act fine during a tumultuous process, okay? The reason why she acts so fine towards you is because she doesn't feel safe with you, right? She doesn't want to open up to you. She doesn't want to give in. And if she was to break down in front of you and be vulnerable, that means that she's ready to open up to you and get closer to you. She's pulling away. And so sharing that vulnerability means she's getting close to you. And if she wants to pull away, she has to rationalize this is the right idea and the right decision to make. Therefore, she's going to put on this facade to like, hey, this is my decision. This is what's best for me. Now, this will be a bittersweet pill to swallow, but she is escaping, and what I've seen with studies and working with countless women before I started exclusively working with men was that she is escaping her feelings, and whether she gets with someone immediately or down the road or back with you, she's going to have to face herself at the end of the day. And so that might feel good a little bit to know that, but there's 2 responses you can have. And one is horrible, which will push you further away from her, and one is the correct response to have. The horrible one is that if you realize, yes, she's escaping, okay? And then you say, well, all the problem's on her then. I'm here, I'm devoted, I'm committed to her, I'm gonna work on this, and she's leaving, she's the one who's running away, she's afraid. That is horrible as a narrative to have in your mind because that leads you to take no inventory towards your part in this at all, right? You need to have a freaking ego check. Look in the mirror and say, how did this actually happen? How did I have one day, this woman was devoted for the rest of her life to me, to now she's leaving me? Because there is things in your behavior, as you know. So the other mindset to have that is more appropriate is, wow, she doesn't even feel safe enough to share her emotions with me. I didn't create an atmosphere where she can open up to me, where she could be completely honest with how she felt, and we could have talked about it. Whether it was being too logical, it was shutting her down, it was being dismissive, it was overreacting, whatever the case may be, she doesn't feel safe enough to open up to those things toward you, okay? And so for you to recognize, yes, she is escaping, but you have to recognize also that she's escaping from you, okay? I'm not trying to dig the knife into you that hard, but this is important for you to recognize so you can look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, what do I do differently moving forward? Now let's talk about the biggest actual reason, whether she's aware of it or not, and why she's doing this, okay? Now this is her ultimate test for you. If you don't know what I mean by test, I have a video at the end of this one that is going to completely explain and give the best framework on what tests are, why she does them, and how to pass them. But I'm going to give you a little bit right now, okay? A test is a subconscious mechanism that women use to see if the man is able to still protect and provide for her and meet their needs. You see, you can know by looking at your woman whether you're happy with her or not, okay? But a man's value is dependent on his behaviors, and you could change, and she's not sure of that. So she has to constantly stress test you in the relationship to receive the connection, to make sure you are that high value man that she first fell for. Now there are micro tests and macro tests, and there's 3 ways to pass it, all in that video at the end of this one. But all you need to know right now is that right now, this is her biggest test, the ultimate test for you. That if she says, if I pull away, if I threaten to leave you for good, and I act like everything is okay, what will your response be? Now secretly, deep down, she wants you to pass this test. She is hoping and praying the spirit, the love in her, the true part of her is praying that you can step up and know exactly how to pass that test to prove that you are the man that she's supposed to be with. But most men fail. They get reactionary. They beg. They plead. They go with another woman themselves. They avoid. They do all these things that only subconsciously prove to her that you're not the man for her. But let's talk about the best way to actually pass this. By far, the best way to pass this is to create correct awareness and then back that up with correct action consistently over time. Now, honestly, between those two, awareness is the hardest piece because your ego or your current version of yourself doesn't want you to change. You fight tooth and nail with all your emotions to stay the same, but you do need to transform into a better man in order to get her. You need to learn new patterns and get rid of those old limiting beliefs. And the hardest thing about this is that this thing that you need to see, no matter where you turn, it is in the back of your head and you can't see it. And this is why the best way to start that process on those 2 steps to start getting her back is to have that proper awareness. Now, we do offer this with our marriage evaluators. All you have to do is click the link down below to get a free call with our team so you can see exactly what patterns led to the separation, and then we can lay out the correct action for you. If you already have that awareness, you've seen a therapist, you read books, you're in some other program, that's great. The second part of this is correct action. As an example, I'm gonna go for the most basic example here. A lot of guys, they struggle with the people-pleasing tendency. They put their wife on a pedestal and they invested all of their self-worth into her opinion, right? They cater to all her needs all the time, right? They don't have any boundaries of themselves. They don't know what their values are. They lost who they were in the marriage. And so the correct action is our values framework, understanding your boundaries, knowing how to pass her tests, and completely let go of the man that you used to be. Again, you can do that all yourself if you want to, but that is the path. It's to recognize simply what behaviors pushed her away and then how to correct them over time. It sounds simple, but it's not easy. Look, I want to give you one final message of hope. She is acting fine. She's acting that way. It's not how she actually is. And the more you realize that she is torn apart by this, that positions you as something that she's afraid to lose. If you believe that she's actually acting fine, then you also simultaneously believe that you're worth leaving. And that is the core issue, that lack of self-worth. Because if you truly believed in yourself, that you were this high-value man, that she wasn't, she'd be devastated to leave. The only emotion you should be experiencing, it's not sadness, it's not anger, it's not pride, it's just confusion, okay? So if there's any other emotions going on, I understand, but that gives you valid information that there's things to work on yourself, okay? Because just like I said with your wife, that she'll bring the same self into her next relationship, so will you. So this is your opportunity to take this moment and to grow as a man, to become a leader for those in your life, someone people look up to, okay? Thanks for watching. Here's that beautiful test video right there. I'd highly recommend you watch that. It's amazing. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.